Hi guys, I can see you starting to pop into the live now, so that's great. So can you just let me know you can see my screen and that you can hear me as well? I can see and hear you. Yep, all's good, excellent. All right, and I have started the recording as well, so we're all set to go. All right, there wasn't too many signed ups for this. I'm not really sure why, because I think emails on users is really, really important. But Rakesh is there. Excellent. So Rakesh will monitor the chat, and if you've got any questions in there, he's probably going to answer them. So I'm going to run through emails and users with Zenler. So I'm not going to be talking about like how to bring integrations in from like something like Active Campaign, but I will be showing you import. So if you can export out, you can import in. So I'll be talking to you about all of that stuff. So let's jump in. This should run from about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. We should cover it, but I'm not going to rush or anything. If you've got questions, I'm going to answer them. So really good. William's in. Tracy, good to see you, Tracy. Two Tracys, Tracy Frenia, Tracy Brynd, Rakesh, obviously. We've got Anne, we've got Rebecca, we've got Lynn. Brilliant. Okay, so I can see a few of you have been in before. So that's great. And Geraldine as well. So lovely. Okay, let's jump in and get on with this. So we're going to start with users first of all. So if you attended the forms and the funnels workshops that we did over the last 2 weekends, not last weekend because I think I had a rest, then you'll sort of understand how to get users in, how to tag them, these kind of things. So to find out where all your users are, you go to site and then you can go into all, and basically doing all will show you everybody. So if you just want to look at the leads, you can come down here and click leads, and you're just going to see the leads inside your site. So if you've tagged them on the way in, whether you've imported and tagged them, or whether you've actually gone through and enrolled them in a course and tagged them, whether you've actually used a form and tagged them, or whether you've sent them into a funnel and tagged them. So you can tag them in so many different ways. It's going to appear in here, and you're going to see all the tagging in here, okay? So I'm going to do sort of step-by-step how to sort of go and edit this and check the roles and these sort of things as we work through it. So after I've finished talking about the users, I'm going to open it up so you guys can have a chat if you need to and ask any questions. Then I'm going to run straight into the email side of things. I'm not going to get too deep, but we're just going to have a look at the system emails, what it kind of means, so you kind of understand it fully. So first thing we've got in here is if you go to site and then you go to people and go to all, or any of these, you can go and edit any of these users by clicking the little edit button. So we're going to jump in there, just jump into one of them here. And you're going to see that it's actually going to give you a little bit of detail about what's going on. And it also means that you can tag or remove tags. So in here, for instance, these are tags that have come in, and I could manually per user go in and change those. So I could delete that tag out. I could also add an extra tag in if I wanted to, like that. And as soon as I update, that will be applied to that user. You could also go in here and change the role as well. So if any of you guys are thinking about like adding an assistant or an affiliate, or you want to take someone from a student, from a lead to a student, this is where you can do it in here. So if I wanted to apply this user and make him an affiliate, I could just click this and click update. Now, bear in mind also that you can click and remove them as well. So you've got full control over this stuff here. And obviously, if they put their information in, it will be in there. If you've got that information, you want to put it in there, you can put it in there also. So this is this area. And as soon as you click update, it'll update. So now I've added that tag free, that will be added to the student or to the lead in this case. So next thing we've got here is the privacy. So marketing consent status. if they've checked that or not, and also if they're in any of the funnels. So from here, you can enroll them straight into a funnel, which could be handy. If you remember last week, we looked at the sign up trigger where we didn't use any of the steps, but we just used it for tagging. So you could use this. So if you wanted to re-tag them or something, you could send them into that, or any of the other funnels that you've got. And this is purely on a one-to-one basis now. We're just looking at manually going in, edit each of the users as you go through there. So that's how you can do it in there. Go in, and you can see that user now has got that tag 3 on there. Sometimes I found with the system, sometimes you need to refresh it to get it to work. And I actually imported some students in today. Didn't come up straight away, but they did come up later. It will send an email out to you saying they've come in there, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is where all our users are. You can also go in here and you can email them individually. So you could click the email button here, and you can see that we've got, you can put the subject in there, and then you can fire an email straight to them. You can also test it first before you send it. So you can send it to yourself, test it. And if you're happy with it, then you can hit the send button, and it will just go to that user, okay, that you've actually put in there. So this is really good. And you can delete a user. Now, the only time you cannot delete a user is if they are part of a course like this one here. So if I try to delete this, it's going to go up, user cannot be deleted. This user is enrolled in some course. So the only way to get rid of this user, if, for instance, you really wanted to get rid of them, you would have to go into the course and remove them. So I'm going to quickly show you that now. So I've got a course here. You can see I've got one enrollment. If I go into here and I go to students, inside that course, I have that user. So what I could do is I could delete them out of here. Then when I return back, when I remove them, when I return back, I can then delete them out because they're not part of it. Okay. So if I was to hit any of these, I'm not going to, but it would delete them out because they're not part of a course. So that's really important for you to understand that if they are actually enrolled in a course or something, you'd have to unenroll them from the course before you could delete them out. Okay. So let's have a look at filtering now in here, because what we can do inside this area is we can actually export out and we can import in. And when we import in, we can do some actions on it as well. So this is really good. And this doesn't just apply to exporting out Zenler and importing back in. It also applies to importing in from other mailing systems like MailChimp. If you can most of those systems, ActiveCampaign, MooSend, MailChimp, you can export out. Now, the requirement is it should be in a CSV format so that you can bring it into the system. And I'll be showing you that in a second. But first of all, I want to show you how you can use the filtering in here. Now, I'm going to jump across and just have a look at any questions that have come in. So we've got a few. That's good. Having import problems. List doesn't show any entries, even saying imported successfully in CSV format. Phoenix, like I mentioned a little while ago, I actually imported in as a test for this workshop. I haven't had any problems before, but when I imported it in, I did not get any emails very quickly. It took about half an hour, and then I came back and then they were all in there. So just give it a bit of time. If it's doing it over a long period of time, definitely contact support about it. And I'm going to do the test now, and it might not work, but they do appear eventually. So maybe I brought that to Rakesh's attention. So we will be looking at that. So how can I clean my tag list out? I've made too many. Some of these questions I might have to come back to. So first of all, I want to show you about filtering. So as you can see, we can go into any of the user roles, and these are the roles. So student, instructor, assistant, support. But we can also filter this on if they're part of a course, if they've got certain tags, if they've got certain roles, and then you can just export those users out. So let's go and use the advanced filters. Now, before I jump into that, I'm just going to show you here that if we actually put something like an email address in here. See, like with my other site, I've got hundreds and hundreds of users and they take up pages and pages. So being able to find users and filter them is really, really important for me. So this allows you to do it. I know we've got this all on the same page, but it's just so that it's easy for you to see. So if I put in here, this email address in here, and we just do a little search, then I'm just going to get that come up. So it's a really good, handy way of finding things really quickly. So to get it back, you do that. But we've also got advanced search or advanced filter. So you can filter it all out, and you can filter it out based on lots of things. So all you need to do is you need to click in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to target only users that have got tag 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're going to target those 3. So I'm going to go into advanced filters here. Yeah. Just make sure you click that so it opens up. We're going to add our first filter, and then you're going to go advanced filter and you're going to go select, and we're going to go down here. Now, this is all the filtering options we've got. We can filter by join date, by role, address contains, city contains, state contains, zip, phone, user tag contains, and user tag does not contain, enrolled in a course, enrolled via a plan, not enrolled in a course, subscribed to a funnel, so not subscribed to a funnel, so completed a course, not completed a course, not in the EU country, and you can see loads of things down here, and all of these are filterable. So the one we're looking for here is user tag contains. So I'm going to click that, and what you're going to do is you're going to get a little box drop up on this side. I'm going to click in it. It's going to give me the tags that we've already got in the system. So I'm going to click tag 1. Okay, and then I'm just going to click apply filter. And now only users that have got tag 1 will appear. And now if I wanted to, I could export these out, and it would just export these users out that have got tag 1. Exporting, by the way, is here. Okay. So I also need to mention quickly to you about the more fields, but I'm going to get onto that in a minute. So what if I now want to filter out only users that have tag 1 and they have no other tags? So we can add another filter. We can go filter, and we can go user tag does not contain. So hopefully I can, there we go. And inside here, I'm going to go, I don't want it to contain tag 1, don't want it at tag 2. So it's actually only 1 here. So I'm now going to apply the filter, and you can see it's just 1. So this way of targeting and adding as many filters as you like, you can really cut down, you can really focus on exactly the people that you want. Now, to get rid of all of this, you can just click here and you're going to get all of your users come back again. So that's how we can use filters, and filters are used in a few different places. They're even used when we do the emails later. So you can target your whole contact group and you can actually filter out exactly what you wanted. So if you wanted to send an email just for people in a certain course, you could actually just select enrolled in course and select the course, and it would just filter that. So if you've got thousands of people, this is a really good way of just clamping down and targeting on the people that you want to send the email to make it really easy for you guys to follow. So the other thing in here is we have more fields. Now, under more fields, if you have got people to fill out things like address, city, state, and you click here, you're going to get more fields added to the little list here. So you can see I've got none in here at the moment that've got address, city, state. Also, if you had any custom fields, remember last week we did the forms, and was it forms or funnels? I think it was funnels. But the week before we did forms where we actually had all the details. Well, that would all be in there. So if they've put that into that information, it will be in there, and any custom fields that you've put in there. So we covered all that in the forms workshop, but that's just to bring it to your attention again. You can open these up and view more of the fields. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get on to exporting users out of the system. So I'm going to apply a filter, and I'm just going to export out tag 3 users. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go down to the tag free, user contains, and then I'm going to choose tag free, and I'm going to apply a filter. And here we go. So every user's got tag free, and all we need to do is hit export CSV file. It's going to come up down here, yeah, depending on your system, and we're going to go show in folder, and it's going to bring up a CSV format. So let me just show you here. What it basically does is it just adds this in here. So you can see we've got just those 3 users in that CSV format. Now, this CSV format could be opened in Excel or on Google Docs if you wanted to. So you could then put them in there. You could then add things to it. But what I want to show you now is I've got this form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, remember it's called people_list CSV. I'm going to put that on my desktop, okay? And I'm going to close it down. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to import the user back in, and I'm going to show you the options when you import a user back in. So remember, we've exported a user out that's already in the system, okay? So what does this mean? Well, when we export it out and then we import it back in, we can add tags, or we could even enroll them into a funnel. So let me show you the options. It's easier to show you than go through it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go back to clear these fields because we've done our sorting. So we've got them all back. And I'm going to go to import users, and it's going to bring up an option box here. Now, this is, you need to be very careful with this, because if you want it, this will say what you're importing them in as. We need to choose the right one. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this a second because I just want to prove something to you down here. If you wanted to import them as a lead, if you click down to a lead here, and then you click the import users, and let's go and choose that for that field. Ooh, there it is. You're going to notice that import as is automatically selected as lead, and you can't click in here. So you can't change it, which is like a little bit of a, it's security for you to make sure you're in the right one. But if you do it as all, and this has happened to people before, this is why I'm making a point of this. If you click all and then you click import user, it's very easy for you to forget to change the import as, and you leave it as instructor. Because you can see now, because I've chosen all, I can choose which role I want them to be imported as. So as a rule of thumb, if you're going to import them as a student or a lead, make sure that you're on the right tab there. That way you're not accidentally going to make the mistake of keeping it as instructor, and then you will have imported them back in as their role being instructor, and you don't want to do that. So this is really important. You make sure that import as, and you select the correct role, okay? So make sure you do. So then you choose your file, which is a CSV file, which we just exported out. Then we click next. So in here, what it's going to do is it's going to do what's called mapping fields. So it has a list of the fields that are inside of Zenler, and then it has a list of the fields that are inside the database, the CSV file. And it maps them, so it links them up. So first name, last name, email. Now this is really important because you don't want it to be mismatched. I don't want to go in here and choose first name as last name as first name. That's a mismatch. So I've got to make sure they're right. Now it's always going to be right if you export them out of the system and then you bring them back in again. But if you're using other applications, as I'm going to show you later, or you make up your own sheet and bring them in, then the field names might be different, and you might have to just check that they're mapped correctly. So the data goes into the correct area inside Zenler when you're bringing it in. So you can see here that we've got first name, last name, and email, and then all the rest of the fields and everything's matched up anyway. We don't need to do this or this, so you can click next. And now this is quite good because inside here, we can add a tag. So when you import in, we can add a tag. So I'm going to call this new tag, and then I'm going to hit enter there. So what's going to happen now is those users I've exported out and I bring back in, I can add this new tag to them. I don't have to. I could leave these blank if I wanted to. I could also send them into one of my funnels. So I could send them into an email trigger funnel, I could send them into one of the lead magnets or video. It's up to you. So you can also do that. So you can send those users into a funnel system. So if I now click finish, it's going to say we will mail you once the import is complete. And I'm going to click OK. And you're going to see nothing will appear in there, but trust me, it will work. It's just going to take a bit of time. I sometimes hit the refresh button here and then it works. Yeah, there we go. It's worked straight away. So I've got new tag there, new tag there. So maybe the developers were doing something and that's why it didn't work earlier as quick as I wanted it to. So you can see I just add in a new tag there. It hasn't changed any of the other data. They've still got their original tags. So that's really important for you to understand that if you bring them back in, you're not going to wipe out the old data. You're not going to clear anything from them. It's just going to add to that or send them somewhere like into a funnel. So that's how you can export out and import back in through the system. But what if I've got a sheet that I want to actually bring them into? Or I've got a sheet out from MailChimp. So I've got a test CSV file, which I've set up here. I just did this in Google Sheets. So I've got email, and then I've put F-name, L-name, and then I've got 3 entries in here, okay? So I'm just going to bring that in. So that's the formatting I've got for this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import these users back in. So I'm going to go to import. Remember to change them to lead. I'm going to go to choose file. I'm going to choose this. I'm going to click open. I'm going to go to the next one. And this is where it's important because it's saying first name and it's saying skip column. I don't want it to skip column. I want that information to go into the first name. And the same for this. I need to make sure it goes into the last name. So everything else, now that's mapped, it's okay. I can click next. If I wanted to add a tag, I could. If I wanted to put them into a funnel, I could. I'm not going to, just to show you the difference. And I'm going to click finish. And then I'm going to click OK. So now I've done that, I'm going to just refresh this screen again, and I should have those users in here. So there we go. We've got those users have just come in there. There's no tags, and their role is a lead inside there. So what we've looked at now is how to edit, how to manually change things, how to filter the emails, and how to actually export out, retag, bring back in, and how we can also bring external data and tag it back in there as well. So there's going to be questions about what about if I want to remove tags? And I've seen this question come up a second ago. So if you want to remove a tag, what you could do is you could manually go in and change them. I know it could take a long time. The other thing that you could do, if you watched the funnels last week and the forms where I set up a trigger funnel, you could actually put a remove tag in there. So you could export out, you could filter out like new tag, and you could send them into a funnel, okay? And inside there, the automation, when they come in, it will remove the tag. Remember we did remove tag, add tag, remove tag. So you can remove tag, new tag, which we've got here, and then it would then update and it would remove the tag. So that's how you could do it for you guys that were asking with that sort of stuff. All right. So that is kind of all our users and how we get them. So obviously, like guys, if they're coming in, if they bought your course, then they're going to be marked in here as students. So you can use that filtering to filter them out and get to them. So what I'm going to do now is that's kind of users really. I mean, that's how it all kind of works. Now we do have email broadcasts and things to do and adding them to email lists and things like that. But we'll talk about that on the email section. So it's actually really easy to find the users by role, by tags. You know, you can use that email trigger to add a tag. You can export them out, bring them back in to add a tag. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to get some questions from you. So I'm just going to stop the share, and I'm going to open up you guys So you should now all be able to unmute. So have we got any questions?
Hi, David.
Hiya.
Hi, this is Tracy in New York. How are you?
Hiya, Tracy. Yeah, it's all good.
You mentioned very briefly when you were on a person, the privacy tab, and there was like a marketing permission thing. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, in here, I'm not really sure. I think marketing consent status. I think it's because when they've, I think if you click that as yes, I'm not sure actually, because I would have thought it would be checked out. I think it might be that Rakesh might be able to mention this, Rakesh. If you want to come on, can you come on and just tell us about this? Because I think
he commented.
Yeah, he has.
Hey guys, yeah, I think it's just applies for students from the EU. Doesn't apply to any other students.
Okay.
So if you do not have any students from EU, it probably does not apply to you.
Okay. So it probably has to do with the GDPR setting. If we turn that on. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
Is that if they've Rakesh? Is that if they have actually checked that to consent to it, then it would be checked?
Yeah, no, that actually. Can you share the screen? I can't see the screen.
Yeah, let me just. There we go.
Yeah, basically, this means that someone called Joe Smith has given his permission for you to send him emails. So this is what Joe Smith has given to you, and you can override it from here if you want to.
Right. Okay. Because you can turn it on and off there. So I guess if they consented, that would be checked. Yeah.
Yeah. If they have told you, if they have given you like a verbal consent, and then you do it on behalf of him, then you can do it like that. But ideally, you should get it before you import and so on.
Yeah. And remember also, guys, that in each of the account settings, they can turn off receiving emails from themselves anyway. Yeah. So if they want to, they can go into their account settings and turn off receiving any emails from you at all. Just like you can go into your account and turn your emails that you receive off as well.
Thank you.
That's all right. So any other questions on this?
David, just to be clear, this is Diana in Washington State. I don't see the privacy tab under my users. Is it because I have a switch flipped off and I'm in America, so maybe it doesn't apply to me?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think if it doesn't apply to you, I think it probably may not show up for you. And also,
Okay,
I think, have you turned on the GDPR? Maybe that's one.
I'll check that. I'll check that. Thank you.
Yeah, if you've got it there, so it's under site GDPR settings, if you've got that checked or not. Yeah. So I've actually got it off on this one.
Okay, I actually do have it turned on. I actually do have enabled GDPR turned on. And yet I don't see a privacy tab.
Okay, are you logged in as a student or are you logged in as an admin?
I'm logged in as admin.
Okay. So are you looking at are you trying to edit someone's email, a particular contact, or what are you trying to do right now?
I think how relevant.
Yes, correct. I just want to make sure if it's important, it may not be important, but when I select a particular lead, right, a particular email address, a particular user, I see two tabs at the top inside of that user window. One is profile and one is funnels. I don't have a privacy tab there in between the two of profile and funnels.
Okay, I think this is because the user, you haven't got a user that has come from you. So it doesn't really, privacy tab is not relevant for that particular user.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll investigate that a bit further. I've not seen that before, so
So they're trying to deal with
yeah,
yeah, because we are based in the UK, we will see that because the UK is also part of GDPR. So
Yeah, I was just going to check in the other account and see whether.
If it's helpful, I do have a European email subscriber, and I have this account open here, and I don't have a privacy tab for the European email subscriber, but this was one of my very first subscribers before I found that toggle switch for the GDPR. So maybe I didn't capture it because I didn't have it turned on yet.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that too. Thank you.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, sometimes these things happen with this. Okay, right. So I'm guessing we're all okay with how kind of users work inside of Zenler.
Have you any questions?
David, can I chip in with a late question?
Yeah, of
Phoenix
course you
here.
can.
That side of things.
Hi, everyone. Hi, it's Phoenix here. So you showed us a list of the fields that can be matched up with the columns of the CSV when we import it.
Yeah.
Do we have somewhere we can see a full list of all of these columns, or was that the full list?
That,
all the way down to tabs?
Yeah, that's the full list. It's basically based on these. Do you remember we did the forms where we set up some custom ones and they appeared in here?
Yeah.
Well,
I think
if you had those fields in there and you exported them, they would be out. So when you bring the next one in, if you had those fields in there, you could match it up. So it's whatever you can match up, you can match up. It's not endless. I mean, we've got address, city, state, a zip, a phone, which are the standard ones in there.
And if they come through funnel,
I think in more fields as well, you can see all the fields. When you edit when you go to the people's view, you can there's a more fields button that will show you all the fields as well.
Okay, David, can you maybe go there? Because I've been struggling to find the fields. That's it.
Yeah, because you're talking about when we import the users in, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? What's the end? Because you've got them in here, yeah. But if Rakesh, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think if we set because it saves them out when we set a form up, we can add a custom form element in there. As soon as we add that in there, then it will appear as part of these fields.
Yeah, I think so. I think these are the default ones that we support. Anything beyond that, I don't think it works. So it's only these fields that probably we support.
Right. So if I have a lead that comes through a particular, that's used a particular lead magnet, I would have to create a custom tag to do that, unless they've come through the funnel, in which case they would have to be tagged in the funnel, but then the tag might not show up here.
No, the tag will always show up here.
Either?
The tag will always show up here. If you're bringing them in, you don't have to send them through a whole funnel sequence. You can just set like a trigger funnel up. And like I did with on the marketing funnels, I set this email trigger up. It's actually got no funnel steps at all. We're purely using it for automation. So in this particular case, we've got here, we could add a tag to this. So if I went in to add it, if I deleted all of these out, I could delete all of these out and I could just set add a tag, yeah, in there. And then I could add a new tag there. So I'd call it new or something like that. So that would then add a tag to them. So when I bring them in, I would send them into the trigger funnel and it would then add that tag to it. Then you would know that it was them, you know. And you could also go in there, like I said before, you could also go in there and add another one that removes a tag. So if you wanted to bulk remove a load of tags from users, say you've got 1,000 users in there and they've got tag 1, then you could export those 1,000 users out. You could make sure you set an email trigger funnel up and add remove tag, and under remove tag you would put tag 1. And when you bring those users back in, you send them into the trigger funnel, which removes that tag.
Right. So yeah. I'm trying to segment better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put them in the different buckets, more streamlined, because I used a different program. I'm trying to get my head around the whole tagging thing in here and how to segment more easily.
Yeah, I mean, tagging's brilliant because, I mean, it's not just because we can set tags up, but remember we can actually filter users out based on lots of things in the advanced filter area. So you might find that a lot of this stuff is already in here. We've got already join date. You've got things like role, address contains, all these sort of things in here that they can all be filtered on, and you can use multiple filters like I showed you. So you can really nail down where they are. Now, later on, like when we did the funnels, we could actually take a user and put them into an email list. So that is another way as well. So you can build a list of people, you could tag those people in there. So you could bring the list in, and you can also then filter through the list as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting your head around how you want it to work. And it's really, really important with these things that you think about that before you start to bring thousands of people into your site, especially if you've got a big email list. You've got to think, how are you going to use it? Are all these what niches are they into? What parts of my site do I want? What courses do I want them to have access to? So you might have, like, say, you might have someone on sewing. You might have a group of people on sewing, and you might have another group of people on collage or something. So you got to think, well, when I bring them in, what I'll do is I'll split the list out into collage and sewing, split them into two different lists. And when I bring them in, I'll tag them with sewing, or tag them with that. So you're bringing them in and you're tagging them as you bring them out in. Now I'm talking about people that you've got from somewhere else and you're bringing into the system. But when you're actually there enrolling in the course, you then got them in the course, and you can see the people that are interested in it because they're buying it. So you could just go enrolled in course sewing, and then it would just filter those people out. I mean, you can also tag them when they come into the course as well. So it does require a little bit of thinking about, because very quickly, like you can see with these tags, how they build up, you can get out of control and you want to try and work that out before.
So if I bring in a list in the CSV file, and they already have tags in them, in my CSV file, will the import system pick up the tags? Because that's where it broke, in addition to not listing the names, but it also broke on that.
No, I tried. I don't think it does. Rakesh can tell you about this, but I actually tried it myself, and I couldn't get it to match up tags that I had in the CSV file.
Yeah, I couldn't either. So
I think that
I think that's something you need to talk to support. It should work.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Can you send that to support at Zenler, Phoenix?
Yeah, I would have to try and duplicate it again because I abandoned it, but I can certainly revisit that and I will ping it through.
Yeah, I would say try it again. Maybe there's something wrong with the format. So as David said, export and re-import it back in. Just retaining the exact same format. Maybe then it should work. I think.
Yeah, I'll have a test as well, Phoenix. If I get it happen, if I can't get it to work on my end, I'll stay in touch with you about this one. Can you PM me?
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Fabulous. Okay. Right. So we covered users, and there's more. Remember, like the system's being worked on all the time. We're sort of polishing off any kind of bugs or anything, or any instabilities in the system. So the thing that about you guys, like on the beta side of things, is you're testing things and trying things out. And if you do find any of these kind of things that are not working how you think they should, or how they should, then you have to send an email to support@zenler.com so we know about it. So it's really good to bring up points because then we can just make the system better and better and just polish anything off. So let's move on now to, now we've talked about filtering and all these things, let's move on to the email side of things. So I want to explain something to you about system emails. Now, system emails are emails that are sent out by the system. So things like you might get, you've probably received emails saying you've got a new sale, and saying the user and the course that they went to, and you're probably like, how does this email get sent to you? Is it done inside your site? Yeah, it is. It's done through system emails, and so is the welcome emails that go out when a member joins up. They actually get a welcome email. These have been actually designed by us, so they're actually all in there, and we've done the text in there. But you can go and you can edit system emails. And why would you want to do this? Because they're very generic at the moment. You know, they're in there as templates that we've set up. And like every other part of Zenler, we set it all up for you to make it easy for you to go in and edit. A classic example would be the pages. When you go into your site, you have all these lovely pages all set up for you in the same style. And then you go in and you just make them look good. And then you put that through the course, through all of the pages. So the same thing could be said about the system emails, and it's very much overlooked. People just forget that they're kind of there. They'll get this email and they go, oh, I'd really like my logo up there, or I'd really like to change the wording on that, but they don't know where to do it. So we're going to go into showing you where that is now in the system. And it is in language. So we're not talking about at the moment, right? We're not talking about automated emails that go out through courses. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about if you've got the system and you haven't sort of set up any automations. And I'll tell you what the problem is if you leave system emails on and you set up email automations in your courses. So to get to the system emails that are sent out, you're going to go to site, and you're going to go to language. And down the bottom here, we have what's called system emails. So it's hidden away down here, but if you go select an email, you're going to get all the emails that are automatically sent out by the system. So you've got one here, which is a welcome email, and you've got notification of a notification to an affiliate on a commission payout, notification on course subscription cancellation to payment failure. You've got this, these will be to you as admin. So it's less important that you style them up, more important that you style things like the welcome email or the password or the reset password. So let's have a look at the welcome email, and you can see this is the default. So there's a lot of these things in blue, personalizations, and they are pulled out from the course or the student name. And this is the default template that's set up. So a lot of people leave it the same, but a lot of people want to change things, maybe put their logo in there or change the title of it, these kind of things. So to change, to add personalization, like this one's student name, I'll just delete that out. There we go. If I added that back in, all I need to do is put the cursor where I need it to go to personalization. And then from these, and these are the personalizations that you have, you can then put student's name like that, put a comma. So that's all that's been done here, like even with the school. If I deleted that out, personalization, school, drop it back in again. So you might want to change this text so it's slightly different. You can also, I suggest when you do this, that you set yourself up as a user and you log in so you get a welcome email, and just check that it looks good, because there's no preview on this side of things. Okay. So if I wanted to put a logo in here, for instance, I'd just do a little return, and I go to my image, and then I go and choose a little Zenler logo. It was a bit big, that one. Let me just go and delete that out and go and choose upload. I'll just upload. I've got one in here. Here it is. There. still as big. All right, I should have reduced that down, but you can just click the image and click in there. I do suggest that you actually take that down in size because it will be a big image, but you can put the image in like that, and then suddenly I've got personalization in my email. So system emails and adding your own text and making it your own is really important. Make sure that you have the information there, because things like the school URL, their email address and their user role, you might not want to put their user role in there. You could delete that out. But the password reset and the login to the school URL is really important. So when you do make these changes, make sure that you test it as a student. Okay, so you can go in and you can check that it's all formatting, looking nice. And if there's any problems, you can go back to it. So once you're finished changing this, all you need to do is hit save here, and that will be saved in here. So these are system emails, and it's definitely worth you going through all of these and just styling them up and seeing that you're happy with them. You've probably got a lot of the emails in your inbox. So if you look at them, have a look, and you'll see they'll tie up with what we've got going on here. Okay. So this is system emails in here. As far as adding anything else, I would be careful. Now we're going to look at later, we're going to look at Lyra Mail, which allows you to create some HTML. The downside of using something like that is that if we start using lots of images and lots of code inside of our mail, then there might be a chance of lower deliverability. Okay, and we want to keep it as high as possible. That's why we've stuck with a very simple format that's mainly text, that we can put images into, but we don't want to go overboard because we want high deliverability on all of the emails that we send out. So people have said, oh, why can't we have designs in here and things? You can go into HTML and you can drop code straight in here and you can add whatever you like. But bear in mind that we've done this for a reason, and that is to keep high deliverability of all the emails inside here. So this is system emails. So you'll find them in site and then down in language. And at the bottom, I suggest that you go through all of these and at least put your logo in there, you know, just so that it looks like you. Maybe you might want to change the wording a little bit as well in there, but it's worth going through those. So with that in mind, we have something down here, and we have course enrollment success to paid plan, free plans, and basically an email will go out from the system emails telling people if they bought a course or they paid for a course. Now, the thing about this is that it's system driven. So it just basically sends these emails out. It doesn't automate anything. It just basically sends out one email. You can't go through the whole process of automation like you can inside of things like funnels or inside of courses. So we have the option to be able to turn off most of the system emails that go out when someone joins a course. So when you turn this off, we expect you to be setting up automations on all of your courses. Okay, so definitely bear that in mind when you're doing these things. So to actually go ahead and turn off the system emails in here, you need to go to site and then site settings. And inside here, you've got this checked. So at the moment it's checked. So it's sending out all of the system emails. But if I put emails into or automations into any of my courses, then I've got to make sure that I turn this off. And the reason being is that if you have it turned on and you set up the automations to say, welcome to the brand new course, with whatever you like, and then you've set up automations. So 2 days later, 1 day later, another email goes out. Because you haven't turned this off in here, it's going to send out the system email as well. And that could be really confusing. And might be like, oh, they're spamming me. You know, I'm getting an email there, and then I'm getting an email there. So if you're going to use automations, if you turn this off, we expect you to use automations. So if I mouse over this now, it's going to tell you system generated welcome emails for courses and site signups will not be automatically sent if this is disabled. So it says if disabled, we assume you'll be using automations to handle this, meaning you'll be setting your own up. So if I went ahead and I turned that off like this, I would then have to make sure that in all of my courses that I set up automated emails for when people enroll, because I want to say welcome to the course and maybe give them more information. So we leave it up to you whether you want to leave the system emails in and not do the automations on the course, or whether you want to turn it off and actually create your automations in each of the courses. All right, so that's the reason behind it. So that is all about system emails and turning system emails off, where you're going to take automations from there. So I'm going to open it up again, guys. You might have some questions on this, so I don't want to go too far ahead because I've got one more part to talk about, which is email broadcasts. So are you understanding what I mean?
David, I have a question.
Okay.
I'm Sabrina. Can you hear me? Yeah. I just want to check. I'm new to all of this, but I've just set up a new course and I've left everything on apart. I've set up an automation sequence as well, and I've paused the access instructions email, thinking that the automatic one would come out from the system, but I can't do that either. I have to use the automation emails for all of them, or I can have the system email with the access codes and stuff going out and the automation email paused. But I can also, I'm not explaining this very well. I can also, okay, let me start again. The system emails go out automatically. They get an access email with all their details. But later in the automation section of the course, I've paused that particular email. And I've added emails, 4 emails, just like following up every week to see how they're doing. Is it okay to do it like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, I said, oh, turn it off. You've got to turn that on. No, that wasn't strictly true. I should have been. It's hard to know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So because we kind of expect it for you to turn it off and just work automations in the course, because normally a lot of instructors have multiple courses, or they'll have multiple areas, and they'll want to handle all of that automation from that course. They want to give that information out specifically for that course, whereas you're actually doing it in a way that you send a generic one out when the system email sends out, and then it picks up inside the courses, which is absolutely fine. It's just we didn't, it's hard to imagine all the different scenarios. But no, if it's working for you, then it's working for you. But be careful, because if you do start adding more content, you're going to and it's going to have different email that's going to go out with it. Then you want to think about turning that off and including it in the course or the membership that you've got set up.
Okay, the important thing isn't to duplicate 2 emails, that they're getting 2 access emails and things like that, no?
Yeah, absolutely. And, like we say, our mantra is like test. You should, if you make any change, especially with emails, things that people are going to receive, you need to be testing this stuff. Don't just go on there in the morning and go, oh, I'll just change this quickly and then I'll go off, I'll go off for a walk. Because if people sign up and you've done something wrong, it's going to affect you. Most people are okay with mistakes. I make enough of them. So, but it's good to make sure that you're checking these things by testing.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot.
That's all right. So, have we got any more questions? So, I think I've got one from Geraldine. I think hopefully Rakesh is on there going to answer a few of these. So I think he's picking up most of them. So that's good. So I'm going to move on now to email broadcasts. So email broadcasts are like if you want to send out a big email to maybe everybody on your courses or certain courses or purely tagged users. Now, this could be like because you've had people come into a funnel and you might at the end of it, you might have like 50% off of a course. And you can see because you've tagged those people or you've tagged when they've come into the course, they become students, or you've tagged them as they come into the course to say they bought it. So you know the people that haven't, the people that have come through the funnel, but you haven't bought the course. So that could be a classic example of writing an email out to them and sending a broadcast to them saying to them, look, you're going to miss this offer. So these are email broadcasts are basically one-off things. You could think of it as like sending a newsletter out or those sorts of stuff. So to get to email broadcasts, they are in their own tab here. And you're going to see that you have, I'm just going to delete these out just in case you guys.
David, you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing it, am I?
Don't tell him.
Thank goodness. Okay, right. So email broadcasts can be found inside of email broadcasts. So inside here, I'm going to delete these ones out. So we've got a blank page now. So inside here, we have create broadcast. We also have email list. So if you've got any email list set up, you can create a list in here. And these can be tied up with, so when someone's coming, say someone's coming in a funnel, you can actually add them to an email list. So when they click, they get added to an email list. So you can set them up. So you might want to call this new leads or something, or call it something better than that. But I'm just giving you an example. So as soon as you create that lead, you have no members in there, but you have this list now. You have this list. So you can then use that. So any form element that you're sending them through, you got the option to add them to a list. You can then add them to the list, into those lists. And you can have multiple lists in there. So this is what I was talking about Phoenix, that if you have lists and you have inside those lists, you have lots of different tags, then you could filter on list. So you could target those people in that list, and you could also target them on the tags as well. All right. So that's the idea behind it. I know it can sound complicated, like tags, lists, what's going on, but it's really only you're just creating lists and you're just tagging people and you're just organizing people by that. That's it. And the rest of it is just bringing them in and sorting them, putting them in the right place. So that's how we can set up an email list easily. You can also see here that we can see all contacts in here as well. So I've got these contacts and I can go in there to the email broadcast. So email broadcast is where we set up a one-off email that we're sending out to people. So if I click this, create broadcast, it's going to ask me for a title. So if I put something like summer 2021, not that it's not, it's kind of more spring, but let's put 2021. And I click create. We're going to get this come up. So this is the title. The user is not going to see this title. The from name, so you want to make it descriptive in there, and the email obviously in there, so they're going to see that. Now the next thing that's really important is the email list. So if we click in here, we can go to all contacts. Now if I click all contacts, you're going to see a number come up here, 14. Now this has selected everybody, but we can now use the filtering that we used before. So remember, so a lot of this stuff that we do, we try to repeat it. So you've only got to learn how something's done in one way. It's like the page builder. Use the page builder in funnels, use the page builder in lives. It's all the same thing. So you understand it. It's not a different system, so it's all clear for you. And we've done exactly the same thing with the advanced filters as well. So choose your email list. All contacts will always be there. So you can click in there and all contacts, and it will give you the number in there. So there's 14 people in this site and they are selected there. So the next thing to do is I want to now target people that are only in a course. Now, remember, in my course, I've got one enrollment. that was me. So I'm going to target just that person. You're going to see this number will change. So I'm going to go to advanced filter. I'm going to go add filter group. And then I'm going to go in here, add a filter. And I'm going to go to course. Where is it? Enrolled in a course. And then it's going to give me a list of my courses. So it's in this course here. Okay. And it's still showing 14, but watch when I click save. 1. There we go. So if I click that one there, you can see that's me. That's in the course. So I could also filter out on tags. So let me just delete this filter group here, and let me just add another one. And let's just do it on tagging. So I'm going to go tag, user tag contains. And again, I get all my tags come up, and I'm going to go tag 1, and I'm going to click save. And now you're going to see I've got 3 people that have got tag 1 in there. So that is how we can target people. So this is the first step, because this is you're creating an email to send out to specific people that are maybe in a course or maybe have a tag. And that's how we can do it in there. So you'll also see down here, it says SMTP. Now, depending on if you set up some of the other options like your own SMTP, you'll have the option to choose here. We've got it set on Zenler Mail, so it's just using Zenler Mail integration. So let me just show you quickly here. I'm just going to open this up in a new tab so I can quickly jump and show you. And if I go down to integrations here, we have different options here. Bring your own SMTP. So you can set that up, and then that would be an option in there if you're using your own SMTP. But if you're not, you're using Zenler Mail, and it tells you down here you have how many credits you've got left on your account for this month. So you can make sure you've got enough credits to send to, I have, because I've got 3 people I'm sending to. So once you set this up and you've got your target and you know the email is going to send to those people, you then click next. And then we're just presented with the same as we have for the kind of system emails where you can start putting information in. So we can start putting some stuff here. Have a great summer. Then I could add some personalization. So I could add the first name, and then I could add the last name, and then I could add whatever I like in here. So any text you like. Yeah. And then let me just grab a bit of this text. There. I'm just going to grab some Lorium text here, just so I can put it in there, because I want to just show you about the images. So this is kind of just dummy text that I can use. All right, good. So obviously put your sign off there and everything else. So I could also put my logo in here. So if I drop this one down here, I could then go and upload an image, or I could choose one. I've got that one there. I think I got a smaller one than that there. Okay, let's drop that in. You definitely want to be using a smaller logo than this. Just for demo, this is going to be fine. So you can see I can put my logo in there, but also what you can do is you can click this little edit. So notice if you click this once on one of the images, you get this little box at the side where you can make it bigger or smaller. But if you click the actual image, you're going to see edit come up and delete. Now, if I hit delete, it will delete it out. So let's hit the edit and see what comes up. Now, this is really good because I've got a little box come up and it says position. So if I click that position, got left, center, right. So let me click center, and notice I could also put a link in there as well. Okay. And then I could tell it to open that link in a new tab. Yeah. So I've got that ability. I'm not going to, but let's put that position center and save this, and bang, it's jumped to the center. So let me show you something else that can be done. If I put the little cursor somewhere in the text and I come across to here and I choose an image, I've got this little replay button here. I'm going to drop that in there. Again, this is a bit big. I'm going to bring it down in size. Watch what I'm going to do now. When I click it and I hit edit, I can go position right. And when I click save, it's going to wrap the text around it like that. Now I could also choose left. So this is how we can get images to work better in the page rather than just have them, you know, it's just text, then it's an image, then it's text, and it's an image. It just adds a bit more interest to this thing. So remember also in the image editor, we have the ability to come in and select our text here and add links via here. So you can just drop a link in here. I'm just going to put that in for now. Click insert. And now what you've got is a link in there as well. So this is very simple editor to work with, but it is quite powerful because we have the ability to actually add HTML in here as well, which I'm going to show you in a second. But you can create things like lists in there. You can also add the personalization in there. So you can add things like unsubscribe link and these things. Now, one thing I need to tell you that is really, really important, because I've had people do this before, is do not delete the unsubscribe link or the mailing address. If you do that, it will not let you send this mail. Okay. So be really careful about that. This is a sort of prerequisite that you have that mailing list. This will be the mailing list of the person if they put it in there, and also the unsubscribe. So they always have the ability to unsubscribe, meeting any of the requirements that we need to do. We need to make sure those links are in there. So I've had users who've deleted this out and then they've tried to actually send, and it won't send because you've deleted that mailing address and the unsubscribe link. So that is really important, guys. Now, moving down here, we have a preview button. So if I click the preview, you can see it's going to give us a preview of our mail. So how it looks, got the unsubscribe down there and our mailing address there and the link in there. So you can check, but don't just trust in the preview. You should always send this to an email list, to a mailing address. So I always put, like in the test send one, I always just test it. So I click the send and then that goes test mail sent successfully. Okay. So inside here, oh, got someone enrolled in a course. Okay. So inside here, now this is the mail that's come in on that address. So there you go. Looks all nice and clean and deliverable straight into the inbox and not into the junk. So that is how that mail works. Now I want to go a little bit further with this because I want to show you how you could actually use HTML and put HTML in here using Lyra Mail. But before I do that, I want to open up to ask you if you've got any questions on what I've just talked about. And I just want to finish this bit off. So when I'm happy with this, I can go to next. And then I can actually send when I'm going to send it. So I can schedule it to be sent. Yeah, I can save it as a draft, or I can click send now. And as soon as I send now, that mail will go out. So in this case, I'm going to save it as a draft. Okay. When I hit save it as a draft, I can then come out of email broadcast and you're going to see it saved in here. So you can then go and check it and send it at a later date. You can always clone it as well. So if it's good and you want to save yourself a ton of time, you can clone these out. Now, a question's been asked. When you send a mail out, you cannot then delete it, okay? Because it's saving the stats. So it's keeping the stats of your user reputation, sender reputation. So at the moment, we don't allow it to be deleted out. So be careful about sending it out. You want to send it as a test. And only when you're happy with it is you'll send it to your live students, yeah? Don't send that out as it is to yourself because it will just be in your list. Right. So that's that for now. I want to talk about Lyra Mail, but before I do that, I'm going to stop sharing and ask you if you understood that. You're all okay with that?
Hi, David. This is Ankush. I have a question. So, this combination of both unsubscribe and mailing address, is this mandatory only for email automations or also course email automations?
I don't think it's in course automations because they've signed in on the course.
All right.
They're actually registered. They're actually registered into your course, but we don't know who you're sending this to, Ankesh, because you could be bringing a list in externally to people.
The unsubscribe link does appear in course automation emails. We've been working on those this week.
Oh, okay. So
can't send the email unless the unsubscribe link is there.
Right. So it's global. So you've got it. Yeah, it is a required field. So that's got to remain in there. Good.
Right. I'm okay with unsubscribe. I was just wondering if mailing address is really necessary.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll sort of demo it for you now. If I just do this and let me just screen share again.
Yeah, I think it is needed because part of the reason is we don't know what emails are transactional, what emails are not transactional. So yeah, we do require the mailing address. Some people use post boxes for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see, like, I've deleted that one out there, and I don't think it will let me send it now. So if I go to send a test, I'm going to get. Oh, it did send it out. Probably if I fired it, what was that one? Oh, it's sending as a test. It's weird. I didn't think it did. Maybe if I click next. Oh, there you go. So if I try and click next, it's not going to let me do it because I've got that. But it's really easy. You just go up to here and you just put those back in there. Yeah. So you just go up, unsubscribe link, and then it'll click. You click next. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So how are we doing, guys? You okay with this?
Hi, David.
Hiya.
Hi, it's Lynn. I wanted to know if you can change the font.
Right. Not through what we're doing here. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I'm gonna talk about that in a second, Lynn. So let's get on with how you could go ahead and customize. Now, I'm still looking for a better way of actually being able to create really nice looking emails that allow you to put things in. There are some limitations. We can drop HTML in there, but we at Zenler, we don't expect you to be coders. That's not the point of Zenler, for you to be coding and developing, doing HTML or anything like that. So I'm looking for systems that are nice and easy to use. And the one I found, which I've actually done a video for, is a system called Lyra Mail. And inside here, it's lyramail.com. It's kind of a drag and drop. And what I've been using is the free version. So you can join it for free. They do have templates you have to buy, but you don't need to use them.
Are you sharing screen?
Oh, I have. I'm not. Am I? Done it again. Shout out. If you can't see anything, shout out. Yeah, I've been using this system here. It's called Lyra Mail. So LIRAMAIL. And inside here, I'm using all free versions. So I'm in the account now, and you're going to see that you've got all these kind of templates. And this is the one that I'm using because it's free. So I've been playing around with this, and I've actually found another system, but I'm not going to talk about that yet until I've given it a full base testing, because this has got some limitations, but it's still quite good for what you can do with it. So what you can do is you can actually download this, and it downloads it into your account that you've got to set up. And this is a free account. And if you go into, when you open the template up, you can save the template out. So, and they save into your account. So if you have a email template that you're using all the time, you can just save it in here, go in and edit it, and you can drop it into the HTML of the Zenler. mail, so email broadcast. Now, this could also be used for automations. Anywhere where you can drop HTML, it will work. So I'm going to jump into the builder now, and you're going to see a page that we've got set up in here. So this is just a blank template, but it's really cool because I can go across and I can actually drag blocks across. Well, I can't now because it's not working for some reason. Yeah, you can go across and you can drop things in. You can go into here and you can change the image. You can add links in here via here. And you'll also notice that it's got a custom font over here, Calibri. Now, I've done a video on this. Let me just jump to our YouTube channel here. Let me show you where that is, because I'm not sure many of you. Oh, let's turn that off. It's in here. I'll post the link, but I've done a whole video on LyraMail, and you can basically take this, so you can design this up with drag and drop. Yeah, you can just drag things in like this. Choose the font that you want. So if I want to make this a bigger font size, like 20, like that, you know, really easy. You can then go in here. This is all free. You can export the email. I'm exporting as, sorry, HTML. And you're going to see it's going to open there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this in folder. There it is. And I'm going to right-hand click. I'm going to go down to open with, and I'm going to go WordPad. You just need to open it up in a document. It's going to give you this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all of this. So I'm going to press Control-A to select all. Yeah. Or you can go up to, is there a way of selecting it there? Yeah, select all there. And then I copy it, Control-C to copy, yeah. Jump in to our mail. So I'm going to go back one. And where I've got the HTML here, all I do is select all, Control-A, delete it out, backspace, Control-V to paste it in, and bang, it's there. Now, it doesn't look very good in here, but when I send it, and it's gonna, remember, guys, you need to put in your tags. You need to put in those tags, because if I tried to click next, it wouldn't work. Unsubscribe, send that, and I'll jump into here. And now I've got, where are you? Oops, there we go. And we got a custom font in there. Now, by the way, guys, notice that I haven't done the links in there, the custom links. So I'd need to drop them inside the program. So I'd need to come in here where it says student email. I'd need to select that, go to student email, email. And I'd need to make sure I actually put the right ones in there, yeah? So that is how you can do it using LyraMail. I will post up, when I do the video for this on the replay, I'll put in links, useful links for you to go to. And then you can actually set up your own sort of HTML. But be very careful, because like we were talking about, if you have too many images and things going in, it can sort of give you a higher spam rate. And some mail systems might reject it or put it into a spam folder because you've got things like too many images in there. It's all based on the amount of text to the amount of images, and it works it out. And if it gives you a score based on that. And that is basically why we do all ours plain text. So it maximizes the deliverability on the through Zenler itself. But you can do it. You can set here. I'm going to do a few more videos on how to do simple, how to get to change the font simply by adding a little bit of code. So I want to try, I'm trying to think of a way that's going to be really easy for you guys just to take things and put it in there and see what it looks like. So I'm working on building some really simplified templates that will get you started. Something nice and simple like this, with some social media at the bottom, with your unsub links and logo, replacement logo there. So you can just click, so you can add that HTML, you can go in and click it, and then you can just swap it out. But I know we at Zenler are working on making things better and better and better. So this might get added anyway, like lots of the workarounds that you guys are doing, and even the stuff that I've done on the Ask Zenler. We're always going to get to a stage where it's probably done in the system itself. It's just we've got to get to that place first. So that's how you can do it. Guys, any questions with that?
Hey, David.
Hi.
Hi, this is Larry. Hi.
Hi, Larry.
Hi. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely great. I have a few questions, and I'll ask them. One is related to both users and email, and then one is a little off topic, so I'll see if it's okay. But it would be easier if I show you. I'm putting together 2 new pages, which I'm getting ready to launch something this coming week or the next week and a half. Can I show you my homepage, because it'll be easier for you to look at what I'm doing? Can I give you the URL for that?
Yeah, drop it into the chat.
Okay. Oh, you want me to put it in the chat? Okay, hold on, let me write it there. It's just www.trueactingstudio.com. Okay, now this is my custom domain. Do you see that? Did you get it?
Got it.
Tell me when you're on that page.
Right, let me just flip to the... Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay, you're going to share it. Okay, great. So, okay, now if you scroll down, so the custom domain is working great, and this is going to be a question I have, but if you click that first one, the first learn more on level 1, this takes you to this is my first sales page that I'm making for one of my courses that I'm going to launch very soon. So
right, just a little thing there. If you look down the bottom here,
yeah,
look at when the URL comes up. Do you notice you've got a question mark and then preview equals on?
Yes. Now, this was one of my big questions I was going to save for after I asked you about the user thing. But this is something I do not understand, because I have the custom domain, but when you go there, it has the whole thing with preview, and I thought it would say trueactingstudio.com and then the name of the course. I don't know where you set that or why it's doing that.
You've in that button, what you've done is you've opened it up on that page, but you've previewed it as an admin. So this gives you the access to be able to preview logged out, logged in pages, course pages.
Right.
So it sets up a question mark preview on. What you need to do is just remove that part. And you need to obviously make sure the page is published. So if you just put that in there, then it will work.
But why am I still getting true-acting.newzenler, not trueactingstudio.com, my custom domain?
Because you haven't, because you've set it wrong.
I think you probably set it up wrongly in first place. So you need to edit it and update it manually.
You've copied and pasted it before, so you need to go in and just take that correct URL. Hold on, let me just look up the chat box.
Yeah, you see this, I mean, the trueactingstudio.com works great, but I didn't see anywhere to find a URL for that, the sales page that has my own.
This is the page, I've just substituted the correct one in there. And if I enter, there you go.
Oh, it is working.
Yeah, it is working. You've just used the wrong URL. You've edited, you copied the URL from the old newzenler.com, from the domain .newzenler.com. So you've copied all that bit forwards and you've pasted it in as the button.
Well, I just took it from the URL that's given in the editor. I mean, in the pages, the list that shows all the pages, it says, here's the URL. I didn't see anywhere that shows the URL you just put in.
Oh, okay, Larry, that might be because, have you cleared your cache? You need to clear the cache and then the URL should be correct. A little tip for you here. When you're putting URLs in, you don't need to put all of this stuff. If it's an internal page inside your site, all you need to do is from the end of your domain is put that part.
Okay.
Then it always resolve out to the proper URL.
Okay, thank you. I'll try that after we get off. Now, okay, so here's my question about users. Now, on this page, what I'm doing, because this is a high price course, I always interview before I give admission to the course, before people can purchase. So if you scroll down, you'll see the button. What I created was a apply for admission pop-up. Now, here's where I have a big question. I got it to work in the way I almost want, but when you click apply for admission and they fill it out and they click get started now, I need to get an email that tells me each time somebody fills that out. So
right.
Larry,
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there because you weren't at last week's funnel workshop, were you?
No, I wasn't here last week.
Well, that's got all the answers in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then maybe I did it correctly anyway, but let me just say one thing. I did put them this person into a funnel. I get an email, but the email does not tell me the name of the person, their email. So I have to go in and check. This was my question. Is there any way that as admin, I can get an email that says, here's the name, email, phone, and city of the person who just signed up? Or can I only do that by going into the email list I have just subscribed them to?
No, if they're filling the form out, you can get the notification, and I think you can set up the, let me check that out, but I'm pretty sure you can just set up the notification for the field. So you'd have your name, your email, your phone, and your city. So
I didn't find any way to do that, so the admin, me, can get the email with all of that information.
There is currently, I don't think there is a way to do that. It only goes to more fields in people.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, David, let me ask you one last question about this form. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So and maybe this will be helpful for some other people, but one of the things, I have a person who's going to be a wonderful affiliate for this course. Now, I'm going to set up her affiliate link and all that. But what happens, because I'm doing an interview, the people are not going and purchasing. I don't see how can I still hook up her affiliate link to the people who fill out this form for an interview, because they're not going to immediately to purchase. Is there some way I can still easily keep all the affiliate information connected to this form?
So what is she doing? Is she just sending people directly to you, or is she sending them into your site?
Well, I'm going to have her send people to this page because I want to do an interview before I give them the checkout page. So once I approve them, then I will give them the checkout page. And I don't, because she's going to be doing quite a bit of promotion, I don't know how else I want to make sure I can track the sales that go to her. And I don't know how to do it using this form with an interview. It would be different if I was just sending people automatically right to the checkout page.
Yeah, but I think if they've got your link, Rakesh, can you answer this? I think it's as long as they got the affiliate tracker at the end, it's going to track it through, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So just make sure you use the correct URL with the affiliate code in.
Okay, so when she sends them to this sales page, when they fill out this form, it will still track them.
Yeah. Yes, it will. And also it will you can expire the tracking cookie for on the site. So you can say how many days that it's active for. So if it's 30 days or something, after 30 days, then that track, and then they come on and then they buy it, then she won't get that sale. But if it's within 30 days, then she will get that sale. If of course the tracking cookie is set for 30 days.
Yeah, I noticed it was set for 30 days. So I guess I can just make that longer if I just wanted to keep going.
Yeah, you could. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I think always do a test. Try it out as a test affiliate just to make sure the flow is working before trying with the actual affiliate.
Yeah, set yourself up. Just test it out with just set up another student and just test that process out and just make sure
Okay.
it's going through.
You know, one other thought I just had now, which might be, I don't know what you think of this. It might be good because I am going to give her a discount coupon for people she sends. Maybe that's the way I can track her, is make sure she tells people when you do ultimately, if you're accepted into the program, use this coupon, and then I'll know it's from her. And then I would have to manage her commissions.
Yeah, you could do it that way. The other way of doing it is if you set a duplicate page up, and inside this form, you actually tagged it with her affiliate name.
Ah, yeah. Oh, that's good. I could
Then
do
you
it.
could give her her own landing page.
Yes. So you're saying I could clone this page?
Yeah.
And yes. Oh, I love that idea. Thank you.
That makes it a bit clearer. Then you can filter it, and you can see the people that have actually bought it. It'd be tagged, and you can see if they've actually enrolled or not. Or the ones that haven't enrolled, that have come through it but haven't bought. So that would give you a clear indication.
Oh, that's a great idea.
To it.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. Okay, thank you so much. That really solves the problem. Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful to see you and wonderful workshop. Thanks.
Brilliant. That's great. That's what we like to hear. Happy customers. Right. So I think that's about it. We're going to kind of wrap up now. But yeah, I hope you found this interesting. Next week, what I want to do is I want to move into the phase of starting to do the course creation part. But before that, I'm going to do a special workshop where we're kind of looking at some kind of like these kind of issues that Larry mentioned. So it's going to be quite an interesting one. I'm figuring it's going to run for about 2 hours, and it's going to be very much by my sort of shoestrings hanging on there, because I'm going to open it up and say, ask me anything. And I'm also going to show you some good tips along the way as well. So before we jump into doing the course creation, which is going to be done over 3 weeks because it's quite big, we're going to do this kind of open workshop for next week. And I'd also like to, inside that workshop, also talk a little bit about design and about branding and about bits of software that you can use. So it's going to be like full of tips and tricks, and give you guys a chance to ask questions. You know, these sort of questions that come up, like Larry just asked, it's really hard to do videos. We do tons of videos, as you know, but it's really hard to get some of these questions for specific purposes. So that's great that and that's why workshops are brilliant, because all these questions come up that you just can't do videos for, because you know it's just one-on-one. So it's good to turn up for these. So next Sunday we're going to do a very special one. It's going to be quite relaxed, you know. So think about questions, think about things you're trying to achieve. Also think about why you're not achieving or where you need to go. And I'll also be, and this is a big announcement as well, we're also bringing out a branding and design course that's coming out. William Seong is here, and he it's very, very good that he actually asked for a bit of help with something he was stuck with. It was all to do with design and branding. So I did a whole case study working with him that I've actually fitted into a branding and design workshop that we'll be releasing next week. So it's an exclusive for you. So I know William's here, and yeah, he's really happy. Hi, William. I can see you. So yeah, so we're going to launch all that, and it's really brave of William to actually do that, because he's putting himself out there, you know, and a lot of people are afraid to do this sort of thing, but I think the course, and like he said himself, it will help other people out. So we decided to do this. He's already looked through the course, he's happy with it to be launched. I'm still working with some things with him, going to get some feedback from him. So it's really good because it's a real case study, and he's made some of the mistakes that a lot of people have made, and it's design based, because I think you doing things, you're not designers, but we're trying to demystify that for you and make it easy for you to go through the steps to make your site look amazing. You know, it's like Larry's site you just looked at there looks really good. That looks really nice site. So he's done a really good job there. But some people struggle where to go. And I know William's got lots and lots of courses. He's got tons of content. And that's a problem in itself, because you've got so many things going on. It's really hard to keep things organized and sort of have a flow through the site. So we're going to be looking at these things next week. We're going to be taking your questions on anything you have. So, get scribbling next week for next Sunday. And I'm going to put the link in the page next week, probably Monday, Tuesday. And you can then sign up. It will go to you guys first. So when you get the replay link, which will be sent out tomorrow, 6 o'clock, there'll also be a link to the next workshop. So you guys, because you've turned up, you can get in first. Okay. So have a great Sunday, guys. Hopefully I've answered a few of your questions, and yeah, take care. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's all right. Take care. Bye.